Now, whether you're making YouTube videos, short films, or even Instagram Reels, having good audio is so important. So today we're testing the 4 best microphones in the game. Top tier, $7,000 all the way down to $250. We're gonna go around New York City, check out the interference in Times Square, check it out on the New York City subway, walk around and see how far the distance will go before it starts to cut out. And lastly, test how quickly can you power it up and start using it to get the best audio quality possible. We'll overlay the actual microphone name on the bottom. We're recording on all 4 mics on 2 cameras, so you know which microphone we're using, which audio you're hearing in that moment while we do these tests, so that way you can find out which one is actually the microphone that you should get. We'll have links down below if you do plan to buy it. Clicking those links helps support the channel. And the 4 microphones that we have is the Zaxcom at $7,000, the Deity Theos at $1,100, the Sony UWP D27 at $1,000, and finally the DJI Mic 3 at like $260. Insane price differences. Let's get into the test. This is the setup for how we're doing this test. We've got 2 cameras, an FX3 right there, an FX6 right here, 2 microphones plugged in here, 2 microphones plugged in there. We're gonna go through the entire setup. This is the Sony UWP system with a COS 11D UWP transmitter into a receiver into the digital hot shoe on the Sony FX6 because it supports digital hot shoe down here. Really nice. Next, we've got the Zaxcom ZMT 4.5 right here transmitting into a Zaxcom QRX235 receiver right here. This has a Deity timecode coming in just in case, and then it's outputting via its special like mini XLR, I think it's called, into the XLR port input 2 of the top handle of the FX6. So this is recording 4 channels of audio currently from 2 of those microphones, Sony and Zaxcom. This is the Deity Theos system plugged into the Sony FX3. So this is our second camera with 2 microphones. Deity Theos receiver right here with the red antennas, 3.5mm Deity cable into XLR going into input 1 on the FX3 top handle. It supports 4-channel audio when using the top handle, and we're using a COS 11D microphone that was custom cut or shortened, I guess, for the Deity Theos system right here, which is, I think, the Sennheiser system where it locks in place. And final 4th one is the DJI Mic 3. This is just so tiny. This is one of my favorite mics. Sadly, you can't plug a lav port in, no USB-C, but this plugs into the DJI receiver right here, 3.5mm into the 3.5mm of the top handle. Our preference usually is digital hot shoe with the adapter that DJI provides, like $35. That's the best one in my opinion. You get 24-bit digital audio straight to the FX3 or FX6. I like that easier because you don't have to play with the audio levels. Some people don't love that. But this is the setup here. We're going to test the range and the audio levels around New York City to see how it handles busy environments like Times Square, as well as open areas, and how far we can get before the mic cuts out. Now we're going to do a range test with Sony UWP. This is 20 feet. 100 feet, we're at 100 feet. Sounds great. Sony UWP, trusted by professionals. Why is Zaxcom so much worse? We're at now 150 feet. Oh, 150 feet. Okay, so it looks like 150 feet is about the point where blips start to happen when my back is facing the camera. We'll keep going. 200 feet, how's the audio at 200 feet? So this still works with my back facing you. Okay. All right, we're 300 feet, 300 feet. Can you hear me at 300 feet? You can hear me? 300 feet, back facing. This is the range test for the Zaxcom sound audio system, UHF. It's supposed to be the best, $7,000, but we've had some issues with it where it's like, I don't know. We're gonna find out today. It's the first time we're ever doing a range test with this device. So I've got my wheel right here. We're gonna see how far it can actually go in terms of distance and when it starts to cut out. The pack is right here in this left pocket with the antenna sticking out. All right, this is Zaxcom range test, 10 feet. Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now? Okay, so we're at 75 feet. The mic pack is like on the front side, so yeah, that's not ideal. But that's where the DJI Mic 3 is as well, and all the other mic packets are in my front pockets. But 75 feet, 70 feet, it looks like the Zaxcom's cutting out. I thought it was supposed to be the best. It's the worst. 100 feet, can you hear me? Okay, facing the camera, 100 feet. Looks like that works. Okay, we're gonna keep testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 50 feet, cutting in and out with the Zaxcom facing the camera. That's a bit disappointing. How about now? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, hello. Deity Theos range test. We've got the yellow antenna tips, which are 614 to 663. In the software, we were able to select 614 to 616, and they're now officially paired. It's at the Cost 11D. We've got the measuring wheel here. All right, this is about 10 feet, 10 feet. Okay, now we're at 100. How's the sound at 100 feet? If I face the camera 100 feet, how's the audio at 100 feet? This is 100 feet. Now we're gonna keep walking. Back is facing the camera. We are 50 feet, 250 feet facing you, 250 feet facing you. Anything back? Yeah. I'm in. Clear. Okay, we're clear. 290 feet. We're clear. Okay. So about 300 feet facing you is good. Deity Theos blue antenna range test, 902 to 928 megahertz. We're gonna put this into my right pocket. These are the smallest antennas. We've got the measuring wheel. Let's go find out. 40 feet, Deity Theos. 150 feet, Deity Theos. Oh, good. Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, a little 50 feet. Oh. Okay, 350 feet, Deity Theos. 350 feet, okay. 500 feet, Deity Theos. Deity Theos red tips range test. With this one keeps cutting out the most, but we're about to find out. 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet. Now we're gonna do a range test with the DJI Mic 3, 10 feet. There's 100 feet. Okay, this is 100 feet, 100 feet. So, can you hear me now? How does it sound right now? 250 feet, 250 feet. Testing, hello, 1, 2, 3, 4. 370 feet, you can hear me? Oh. Okay, 500 feet. 500 feet, you can still hear me at 500. Okay, 600 feet. With the feet, direct line of sight. 600 feet, somewhat direct line of sight. Okay. Yeah, 600 feet, okay. 675 feet, 670. Now that we are complete, here are the stats in terms of the worst to best performing. Now the worst was the most expensive microphone, the Zaxcom, at 50 feet when my back was facing the camera, so I had to go through my body. DJI, second place, 80 feet. Sony, 150 feet. And Deity at 200 feet. So Deity won the game here. Obviously Deity, we had to change the antennas, their different settings and all that, so keep that in mind. Now when it came to facing the camera, so my chest and the microphone is here and I'm facing the camera, better transmission, it doesn't have to go through my body. DJI, once again, Zaxcom was the loser at 100 feet. Sony coming in at 200, Deity 400, and DJI with the win. Line of sight, DJI with their 2.4 and 5 gigahertz spectrum just won, 675 feet. I don't think you really need to go that far, but in an environment where there's a lot of noise or a lot of people, actually, this is probably line of sight. So not a lot of people, but direct line of sight, DJI is gonna win. It's just crazy to think that the cheapest mic pretty much did really well against these extremely expensive UHF microphones. Alright, recording both cameras here. It is loud. So we're currently in the subway. We're gonna do a little audio test here. I don't know how it's gonna sound, but we're running all 4 microphones. And one of the biggest things is we're running around New York City. We're up above ground. We're going down into the subway system. So we always need to be checking new channels, and that's one of the downsides of UWPs. If you're moving around, you're not like in a studio space, you have to scan for new channels and make sure it's running well. And that's one of the downsides that we haven't used Deity or the Sony systems because of that. And the DJI system is really nice because it automatically switches the gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz bands to get the best track possible, so we get good audio. So we're gonna get on the subway right now and just see how it sounds and what this experience is like, testing all 4 microphones. You can hear which microphone we're showing to you right now as the trains come and go. We're gonna head to Times Square to do an interference test, see how much interference we get on these devices when we're in Times Square, and probably the busiest We're officially in Times Square. We're running all 4 microphones right now. We have the DJI, which is just the DJI Mic 3 on my chest. We have 3 Cost 11Ds, all wired for their specific transmitters, because some of them are the 3.5mm locking, one of them is like not locking, and this environment has the most amount of chaos. So we want to see, does the audio sound good? If you're at a conference, you're at a big fitness event, you want to get good audio, not get interference, and still be able to capture what's going on. Is this the best way to do that? So I don't know if there's going to be interference as we walk through people, or if there's rubbing against my shirt, which we shouldn't have because we taped it to the inside of this like chest mount thing, which I actually really like because we don't have to tape the microphone to my chest. But anyways, I do have a main channel at Shervin Shares on Instagram. You should follow me there, subscribe, turn notifications. And we've been testing microphones, some camera gear. I don't know, this feels like a hobby, side hobby. It's been fun, it's interesting, we're learning. I don't think a lot of people care about these or know what these microphones are. So if you are someone who enjoys this stuff, like any comment you leave below gets me excited to make more videos like this, because these videos are probably not going to do that well. But I think they are interesting. I'm always obsessed with having the best tools, best equipment, even though it's not necessary to make good videos, but if we can test and learn what works best, we're going to do it, you know? That's what it is. So next was our environmental test, going to Times Square where there's a lot of interference. Also testing it down in the subway in New York City. Times Square, Zaxcom did the worst. It dropped. Everyone else had good connection. We were maybe 10 feet away, but as we're walking around, as radio waves are changing, Zaxcom seemed to have cut out. That was the only microphone that cut out. And for us, that's run and gun, on the go, unacceptable. I thought this was the best microphone because it's gonna have no interference, gonna have, you know, onboard recording as well as great audio. And I'm like, why is it cutting out? Now every time we have to relink backup audio, then there's no point in having recording on board and all these antennas, extra hardware. So it just doesn't make sense. Bit disappointing that Zaxcom has lost 2 of the tests so far, and it's the most expensive. Sony UWP time test. Let's go ahead and start. Power up. This one does require external battery source right now because we don't have USB-C. We don't have AA batteries, I should say. Powered up. We're going to tap NFC scan. It's going to start group scan. Sync, NFC tap. Vibration. Complete. It took 47 seconds to get this time complete. Not bad. There's an NFC tap to get it synced with the right megahertz. It scans the network, tap to synchronize, and you're good to go. Zaxcom QRX235 with the ZMT4. Let's see how long this takes. Audio cable, power cable. We could do time code if needed, but we're not recording locally right now. So the Zaxcom took 2 minutes and 2 seconds, about 2 minutes to get set up. It has a few more cables, a little bit bigger setup process, but it got working. We scanned, we had to do a few more tweaks, and now we're here. This is the Deity Theos test to see how long it takes to set up. Initiate timer. Power this one on. Power this one on. Powered on. Menu, frequency, scan, menu, frequency, check, pair, yes, select TS1 to pair, press pair, pairing now. Bam, so now we can stop the timer, stop. 2 minutes, 30 seconds to initiate the Deity Theos system to get it set up and going. It's quite a bit of time. I wish it was faster, but that's how it works. We scanned, we set them up, we connected it, installed it, plugged it in, we're good to go. Deity Theos, check. DJI Mic 3, let's see how long it takes to set up. Digital hot shoe, Mic 3, microphone, digital hot shoe adapter. DJI Mic 3, 29 seconds to get it fully set up. That is, you could set this up 5 times over before Deity Theos is even ready. That is insane. And the form factor is insanely small. Like, look how much smaller this entire form factor is to film and get decent audio. How quickly can we start recording? Winner, cheapest microphone, DJI Mic 3, 30 seconds. Sony, second place, 48. Zaxcom, 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Deity, 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Deity and Zaxcom, over 2 minutes, that's just too much. That's, you know, that starts to add up as you're running the gun and going to new locations. Maybe you need to resync, set up new settings. It becomes a bit frustrating. I don't love that. The Sony and DJI, top 2 winners right there. But one downside for the Sony is you actually need to tap NFC on the Sony mics. So the transmitter, receiver need to tap physically. So if the talent, you have to go to the talent and bring their transmitter up to the receiver on the camera and tap. So you might have to take things off, which is a bit frustrating. So the winner here is DJI again. So this is an audio test where we can switch between all the different microphones so you can see what the audio quality is like. We're recording this at the same exact time, so we can even replay the same audio for you just so you can tell. We're really curious, which audio track do you think is the best? This is unprocessed, raw, going straight into the Mix Pre 6. We can change the audio levels as needed. The Sony is the hottest one out of the four. Can I turn it down a little bit? Sony, turning it down, turning it down. So the Sony one is now levelized. Okay, 1, 2, 3, turning it down. Okay, now the Sony one is closer to all the rest. So these sync-in, these have 3 sync-in cost 11Ds into these receive transmitters, and then the DJI Mic 3 is its own transmitter / you can't plug in a lav, which sucks. DJI, can we get a Mic 3 or a Mic 3 Pro where we can plug in a lav mic? That would be amazing. Now, how does the setup work? So I'll discuss that while you listen to the audio, and we'll have the text of the microphone that's playing down below. We have the number 1 Sony UHF receiver powered by USB-C into the SmallRig 99 battery, and then it has its own cable that came provided with it, XLR, into the Mix Pre 6. Next is the DD Theos 3.5mm locking cable into the receiver, goes into an XLR cable that's from the DD Theos itself into the Mix Pre 6. Channel number 3 is the Zaxcom. It has its own cable that we got from Gotham Sound. I think it's custom made, but I think it's mini XLR into regular XLR. Pretty short cable that plugs in here. It also has a power from a DTAP from the SmallRig battery into its locking power, DC power, and the antennas are displayed right up here. And then finally, the DJI Mic 3, the receiver is plugged in with a locking 3.5mm into the regular 3.5mm TRRS or TRS? TRRS into the Mix Pre 6 into the aux input. When it comes to DJI Mic 3, our preferred method is to use digital hot shoe with the USB-C adapter on the FX6, FX3, ZVE1. But this is kind of just another method. But we're getting 32-bit audio with the DJI Mic 3 into a 3.5mm, which is cool. So I can yell really loud and try to make this audio peak right now. We're gonna make it peak, but we're gonna be able to pull the audio tracks down so it's not as loud. And that is the value of having 32-bit float audio. So that is pretty cool to be recorded into the Mix Pre 6. We also have timecode from the Deity TC1 going into the Mix Pre 6 as well as the FX6. So it should make syncing the audio workable. I was watching some videos on timecode, and even with timecode, you might not be able to sync it properly. So you still have to do clap sync. But this is what the audio should sound like and what the experience is. I want to know, what's your preference? If you had to pick, are all the transmitters exactly the same because we're using the same lav mic with slightly different connectors, slightly different transmission, and it's all going to the same recorder receiver? So the only thing that's different is the transmitter and the wireless signals going from my lap to this table. Not very far, but we wanted to see, does it make a difference with the transmitter receiver, or can you just pick a lav mic and know that you're gonna get the same kind of audio across all these systems? Except for DJI Mic 3, because that's gonna sound different. Audio quality comparison. Now that we've listened to all the audio tracks, I'll be honest, I am shocked that DJI is so good. The receiver transmitter combos don't seem to make a massive difference. It seems like using the Sanken Cost 11D lav mic on all 3 systems makes the audio pretty much indifferent. It doesn't really matter. Like if I go to a new shoot and I just use the same lav, most likely it's gonna sound exactly the same. So that's good to know. Not much of a change. The DJI Mic 3 is very close. There's a slight difference. Like I can tell a slight difference, but the audio is so close. It's just, at this point, it's like, do I need a cable? Do I need to bring all this extra equipment, extra price, extra batteries, extra complications? Like DJI, this is not sponsored by them, but this microphone is exceptional. Like it's winning the charts and winning at price. These other guys, Sony, Zaxcom, Deity, time to step it up. So these are the all 4 major microphones. DJI is obviously a major player in our regard because it's the favorite mic that I use, but these are the most expensive, most powerful mics that we could find that we've been testing. The Deity Theos and the Sony, as you can see from a size perspective, pretty close in terms of their height and width. Even if I put them on top of each other, the Sony might be a bit deeper, but they both have antennas popping out. Antennas are about the same length. They have 2 Cost 11Ds. The Sony one has a 6-foot standard length Cost 11D, and the Deity has a 1-foot or 3-foot, I think. We shortened it. It's the same microphone, different plugs actually that plug into here. But in terms of form factor and size, these two are pretty much exactly the same. They have USB-C ports. You can power it via USB-C. They both use AA batteries. They both have clips, but they all look very similar. And then if you compare it to the Zaxcom ZMT4, like this is almost like two of them. You could put one on the bottom here and then another one on the top. It's about half the size of the Deity and Sony ones. The antenna lengths are about, a little bit longer on the Zaxcom, it looks like. This also has a 1 foot cost 11D, as you can see here. So the microphone lengths are the same, which, we made sure that those were clean. But the Deity is the biggest. The DJI is so tiny. If you put it side by side, insanely small. And then you put the Zaxcom transmitter in the middle. So these are kind of the three different size variations. You can see, well, obviously the DJI doesn't have a lav mic. It barely is like the size of my thumb. And the Zaxcom is like 4 DJI mics, and the Deity is 2 Zaxcoms, Deity and Sonos. So these are the Sony. These are the size differences of the transmitters, which is insane that you have such vastly different size differences. And then the battery life. The Zaxcom is the shortest. Deity and the DJI will last an entire day, which is pretty nice. And then in terms of placing it on your body, the Deity and the Sony, they clip onto your waist. You can slide them in your pocket. Still pretty big. The antenna will hit up against my body, which I don't love. And for all of the ones that have lavs, we'll either tape it on or wrap this Ursula thing around my chest. The Zaxcom, we do have a holder for it, which is nice. It's like another Ursula thing right here. And we'll just slide the receiver into this position right here. And it just slides in there, and the antenna still sticks out. It's gonna rub against your body, which I don't love, but that's part of getting good audio in some ways. But then it's like the DJI mic is so small. I can just hold it right here. I can clip it to my necklace. I can magnetize it to the inside of my shirt, outside. I love wearing it on the inside with a magnet square on the outside. It's super simple, it's clean, it's minimalistic. I'll tape the DJI mic so you don't see the logo. It is definitely the smallest of the three, whereas these can kind of interfere. If you're sweating, no shirt, running, I can clip this to my hat. Whereas these ones, I'd have to like route the mic, maybe wear this in my back and route the lav mic to my ear or something, which is an extensive process, and you might have microphone or like a cable in the back of your head. So it just becomes a bit more complex. But we do love the Cost 11D. I just wish there was a way to plug that into the DJI Mic 3. So for the backup option right now, we do have a DJI Mic 2. See, DJI Mic 3 is about half the size of a DJI Mic 2. For this one, we can still plug in a Cost 11D because it has a 3.5 millimeter. So we got one custom made where it's not a locking mechanism, and you can just plug it into the DJI slot. And that's another way that we can get Cost 11D audio into the DJI Mic receiver. But that connects to a separate type of receiver that the DJI Mic 3 does not connect to. So if you want to bring this and this, then you need 2 different receivers. You need the 2 different transmitters, and it becomes a whole process. So it's like, how much value for effort is actually worth it? I've been starting to love the DJI Mic 3. It's just the value and effort. The value's high, the effort's very low. It continuously has been the winner mic over picking all these other mics. Even when it comes to using it at events. High Rocks, we used the DJI mics, and there was a little bit of interference, but we had 32-bit audio recorded. And I was like, I'm not gonna wear this in a High Rocks fitness event or a marathon. Whereas this, I would feel comfortable wearing. Final thoughts, quality of life. Okay, menus. Deity and DJI have the easiest to use menus. Nice UI. Zaxcom, we had to go through an hour and a 2-hour-long education course with the team at Gotham Sound. Extremely kind, extremely helpful. Even they had to pull up the manual sometimes. This thing was like using Windows 95 or Linux, honestly. It's extremely hard to use. I forget the things we have to do. There's definitely a mental load in terms of learning how to use it. And if you don't use it consistently, you'll forget. So, not easy. Sony menus, not great. But it is a little bit easier. Bands. Now the Deity and Sony have 3 different bands. The Deity, you have to change the antennas to change the bands. The Sony is a digital menu change only, and DJI automatic. They change frequencies, they change bands, they change everything, and they just figure it out for you automatically. And it seems to work very well. Zaxcom will scan the full range without changing. And then we did have the QRX, which has a smaller range, so maybe that did affect it, but there is an RX version, I think, that does have a wider range of bands that you can scan and hop on. Now, syncing wise, Bluetooth is better if the mic's already on the talent's body. The NFC on the Sonys is annoying because you have to pull out the pouch. Like, we use this for main channel videos, and I was like, Zach, I don't want to have to sync this. I don't have to pull this off my waist. I don't have to pull it out of the pouch and all these things. It gets frustrating, annoying. I don't love it. Now, Sony seem to be the most reliable in terms of sharing very similar frequency ranges as Zaxcom and Deity with the yellow-red bands. Deity only won because it has a small high-frequency band closer to Wi-Fi and DJI. So maybe, even though those are not, like the Wi-Fi bands have more interference, it seems like maybe the microphones are just better there than UHF. I don't know. But after doing this test, realizing, hey, we could spend $7,000 on Zaxcom, we could spend $1,000 to $1,500 on Deity Sony, or we could spend $300 on DJI. DJI, Charging case, easy to charge. Battery lasts all day. We don't have to swap out batteries. There's 2 microphones in case I need to swap out a microphone or have a second person in. The case is extremely small, easy to travel with. Automatically syncs, connects via USB-C to get digital audio straight into Sony cameras, straight into my iPhone. The number of reasons that the DJI mic is my absolute favorite is just way too many that there's no reason to try any of these other microphones. I kind of wanted more professional microphones, better audio, but DJI just, the quality is amazing. The user experience is unlike any of the other ones. We just want lav mic inputs into DJI Mic 3, or at least let the DJI Mic 2 connect to the DJI Mic 3 receiver. That's it. Links for all 4 of these microphones are down in the description. If you do plan to buy one, like our favorite, they are in the description. Click that link, help support the channel. Subscribe, turn notifications, comment down below. What are the questions you have? We are not audio engineers, but this is a, everyday man's YouTube test, and this is what we learned. We're gonna sell the other microphones. If you're planning to buy a Sony microphone, a Deity microphone, or the Zaxcom microphone, I will be selling these. DM me on Instagram at Shervin Shares if you wanna buy them. And if the description says they're not available, then we've already sold them. So we're gonna sell these microphones because we need the money. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.